Yeah, this really started for me was 25 years ago when I moved to China with others. We were sharing our faith. We saw people come to Christ. Some of those who came to Christ started getting married. They started going to seminary. They started planting churches. Simultaneously in China, there were many other people like us doing that same kind of work, planting churches. And years later, really a movement emerged. A lot of churches came together in networks, and we now see churches in maybe 180 cities, maybe 5,000 pastors in this network. And over time, these same pastors who we had equipped, who we had done pre-marriage counseling, had officiated their weddings, they planted churches. We're now seeing those same people who are being thrown in prison and persecuted. Sometimes people will ask me, why are you involved in this? You're a church planter, you're a pastor. Well, the reality is the same people that I am advocating for, they have the same job that I do. They're also pastors and church planters, but now they find themselves in a different political situation in China where Xi's authoritarianism is expanding, and now they find themselves in prison. And what I began to realize is that as a pastor, I will do anything for another pastor in a remote place in the world, a persecuted place in the world before they're in prison. We know how to do that kind of ministry. And then after they're out of prison, the Luke Alliance has helped people with PTSD counseling. We've hired attorneys, helped people hire attorneys to get them the rights that they deserve to be able to live in the country again. But the question remained, what are we going to do in this gap between before prison and after prison? What about when you're in prison, during the time when you're in prison? How can we then help you? The words of Jesus in Matthew 25:36, I was in prison and you visited with me, just really rung in my heart. How are we going to help people who are in prison? How are we going to meaningfully visit them? And so the Luke Alliance was birthed out of a desire to really go and be with people and meet them in prison in their time of need and get them the relief that they need to keep on following Christ.